Where there is no fasting, where there is no exercise, where there is no meditation, demons are definitely present. There is a thin line between parasites and demons, and I'd like to touch on that today, so we won't have any doubt at all. The difference between demons and parasites is no different from the difference between water and H2O. It's just a scientific view versus the general view. Now, basically, when they were talking about Leviticus, you notice in the book, because I'm going to go through a biblical lens to also make us understand that all of these things are synchronized and connected. But through a biblical lens, if you notice all the shellfish that were forbidden to eat, all are a haven for parasites. And what I want you to understand, that parasites have always been demons. Both of them have psychological issues in common with demonic possession. Both of them affect your body, your mind, and your spirit. Most people that are infested with parasites, 85% of them suffer from schizophrenia. T. gondii, or Toxoplasma gondii, is one of the main parasites connected to mental disorders. Now, the connection is like this. If you understand about the pig and all of the different filth inside its body and everything, it is one of the main carriers of legions. And in the biblical text, you know that when the demons were cast out, they were asked to be thrown into the pig. Then quickly the pig drowned. And they were many, as the parasites, the bottom feeders, the shellfish. Now, we speak of Lord of the Flies with Beelzebub. In the oldest translation, Beelzebub is also known as the Lord of Filth. And in the habits of most people that have schizophrenic issues and a lot of those things, their hygiene is bad. In the Quranic text, they say that most of the negative jinn, they are in the negative places, like filthy places, like bathrooms, places that are unkept. Same thing with parasites, worms, flies, all associated with filth. Beelzebub was the Lord of Flies and the Lord of Filth. And even in the sexual habits of these people who engage in sodomy and things like that, all connected with dung. Beelzebub was also known as the Lord of the Dung. So you make the association, the different habits. Possession, as far as the succubi, are connected to sexual promiscuity. And also most people who have a lot of parasites are high in promiscuity. So there's a thin line between demonic possession or spiritual possession and a person that's filled with parasites. As a matter of fact, if you was to take a microscope, or and you look at how parasites look close up, you will see that visually they are demons. They're microscopic demons. And because both parasites and demons need a host to inhabit, you can easily make the connection. You can easily make the connection. In Mark 9:46, it says, where the worm is ever present but never quenched. They're speaking of parasites. So they even knew then that it was a connection. Because worms dominate the cognitive behavior, and so does the demon. There are some cases to where, in the level of promiscuity, that once the cat gets the mouse. The mouse is inhabited by a parasite that makes it want to go towards the cat. Like the cat doesn't even have to put up a chase. It just puts itself, in the mouth of its predator damn near. And this is the same thing with the promiscuity level. People that have a lot of parasites, and you can do your research, definitely have an attraction level to each other because they both have the same parasites inhabiting them. So looking through a biblical lens, a spiritual lens, we understand that there's a thin line between parasites. They both need a host. They both cause psychological issues. So therefore, there is no difference. It's no difference from if I was to explain what water is and what I explain H2O is. We have to understand that many names for the same thing. But a parasite is an organism that lives and benefits from a host. A disembodied spirit or a demon is the same thing. It has to have a host to inhabit. So when we're going through the origin and we're looking also through the biblical lens, the serpent, it was the most subtle of the forest. But in its curse, it was cursed to crawl on its belly as a worm. And we know that serpents and worms and reptile and snake-like figures throughout history has riddled this planet. Because those are the archon species, the parasites, the flies, and the thousands of eggs that they carry. All of them are connected with the spiritual world because they all are interconnected. So this is what I mean when I say where there is no meditation, cleansing, and fasting, demons and parasites are definitely present. So understand the connection and put everything into context. Understand why Leviticus teaches us not to eat the crab or the creatures with the hooves, the pigs and things like that. Things were specific because this is all spiritual before it was physical. And demons are definitely parasites. This is Ancient Nine Mystery School, Saint Germain.